Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a DPS Showdown to compare 3 of the best boss killing operators. Nearl the Radiant Knight, or NTR as I'll be referring to her in this video, Skadi, and Surtr. First we will introduce the contestants and their kits, then compare them battling various bosses in terms of how long it takes to defeat the boss, or how much damage they can do to the boss. The results actually really surprised me, so you'll want to stick around. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, I'll make another one of these when we hit 69 likes, so please leave a like. Also, if you want to take part in the making of these videos, for example, the strategies, which stages, etc., come join my Discord. The link will be in the description. Alright, let's get into it. But first, a quick disclaimer. This video is made for entertainment purposes and should not be taken as a definitive proof to pull for or scientific video. All clips are executed to the best of my ability, but results may vary by doctor and the level of investment in operators. Please take results with a grain of salt. For each operator, I'll be calculating their damage potential by calculating a weighted percentage that equally weights their trust, potentials, skill levels, and level. Our first competitor today is Nearl the Radiant Knight, our newest limited operator. Today's Nearl the Radiant Knight is at 83% damage potential. She is on skill 3, potential 2, and max trust. Her talents stun the enemy and deal 80% true damage when deployed, and ignore 20% defense. Her skill 3 summons a blazing sun on an adjacent tile that deals 110% attack as true damage, stuns nearby enemies for 3 seconds, expands her attack range, raises her attack by 140% and defense 100%, and then she deals true damage to enemies blocked by herself or the blazing sun. Next up we have Skadi. Since my Skadi skill is not Mastery 3, I'll be using a support Skadi from Hsinon. She is at 89% damage potential. Her talents increase the attack of Abyssal Hunter operators by 14% and decrease her redeployment time by 10 seconds. Her skill 2 raises her attack by 170% for 30 seconds after she is deployed and deals physical damage, and she is potential 4. Finally, we have Surtr. Surtr is an arts guard and is at 88% damage potential. Her talents ignore 20 res and essentially grant her immortality for 8 seconds or 9 seconds at potential 3. She is potential 3 on skill 3, which immediately restores all her HP, increases attack by 330%, increases range by 2, target count by 3, and max HP by 5,000. Then she gradually loses HP. Note that her talent allows her to stay in her skill for another 9 seconds after she loses all her HP, unless her talent is activated before her skill. First up we have Faust. So what happened? First, we'll take a look at NTR. I started all of these clips at the time where the operator first strikes Faust, whether or not they are already using their skill. In the case of NTR, her first hit was during her skill duration, since her range extends quite far to where Faust was standing at the time. I do want to point out that Faust was already slightly damaged by gravel, but the damage was negligible. Since her skill 3 only deals true damage while blocking, and Faust cannot be blocked, she had more trouble taking out Faust than Skadi and Surtr. Nonetheless, she was still able to assassinate Faust in a respectable 16.58 seconds. It is worth pointing out that her blazing sun that she summons also tanks Faust's arrows. Next up is Skadi. I do want to note that I used Warfarin to heal Skadi during her skill, since she dies to the turrets before the full window of her skill is up, unlike NTR and Surtr, who are both able to take advantage of their entire skill durations. I felt it wouldn't be fair if Skadi wasn't able to use her entire skill duration against Faust. I am not using Warfarin's skill 2 to buff Skadi in any way. Despite Faust's 37,000 HP, 350 defense, and 35 resistance, Skadi was able to take care of Faust in an impressive 13.41 seconds. Finally, we have Surtr, the victor. I did include a cut in the gameplay for Surtr. I cut out a small place where I paused the game but edited it so that there was little to no difference between what the gameplay would have been without the pause and what it is edited in the clip. Surtr lives up to her name as one of the most broken operators in the game. killing Faust in 13.26 seconds. Unlike Skadi and NTR, she does not need any healing or other operators to tank Faust's arrows due to her second talent, which prevents her HP from falling below 1 for 9 seconds since I have potential 3. Next up we have Pompeii. First, I will note that I used Silence's healing drones in order to keep the operators alive long enough to kill Pompeii. I used the same drone for every operator, so nobody has an advantage over the other in terms of healing. Also used a cut in NTR's video this time for the same reason as Surtr during Faust. Here, NTR performed well because she was able to block Pompeii with her Blazing Sun skill 3, allowing her to deal true damage. This is very nice for Pompeii because he has a high resistance stat. This is an example of NTR's skill in mostly optimal conditions. NTR was able to dispose of Pompeii in a short 12.59 seconds. Next we have the victor, Skadi, who disposed of Pompeii in a whopping 10.15 seconds. Skadi is exceptionally good against Pompeii because he doesn't have a very high defense stat, so Skadi's physical damage works very well. And because Skadi has such high attack and damage dealing capabilities, he was able to top the competition in this instant. Finally we have Surtr, with a much slower 16.5 seconds. Pompeii has a high resistance stat, so Surtr's art damage is not optimal in this situation. It is worth noting, however, that Surtr was able to clear the smaller slimes that come out with Pompeii, since she can hit multiple targets rather than a single target like Skadi and NTR. So, even though she had the slowest time killing Pompeii, there is an argument to be made that she has more utility than the others in this situation. Next we have Frostnova. For Frostnova, we didn't measure a time, but rather how much damage an operator can do to Frostnova before they die with no healing or buffs. First up we have NTR. I put her on a different tile than Skadi and Surtr to take advantage of her skill 3 blocking ability. Despite Frostnova's high resistance, NTR was able to get her to below half health in her second life. Second we have Skadi. Since Frostnova has relatively low defense, physical damage works well against her once again. Skadi also did around the same damage to Frostnova as NTR, with just below half health remaining. Finally we have Surtr. Due to Frostnova's high arts resistance, Surtr was not able to deal as much damage as Skadi or NTR. Although she did deal damage well into Frostnova's second life, it wasn't quite enough to match the competition. So who won? Skadi and NTR were both extremely close, so I put both of their graphs next to each other in Photoshop to compare, but it was still too close to call, so we'll call it a tie. If you disagree, comment below who you think won. Next we have Patriot. Once again, we will look at how much damage each operator does to Patriot for as long as they survive. I started each operator as soon as Patriot stepped on the tile shown in the video. NTR is a very good choice against Patriot and is the victor in this battle. Patriot has very high physical defense and arts resistance, so NTR's true damage against him is pivotal to her performance. Since her Blazing Sun blocks Patriot and takes a hit, she's able to finish her entire skill window before Patriot kills her, and then a few hits outside of her skill. After Patriot kills the Blazing Sun, however, she is no longer dealing true damage. So, although her skill is still up, she does significantly less damage than if Patriot were being blocked. Skadi didn't do very well here. Because Patriot has such high defense, Skadi's physical damage does not do much. In addition, Skadi does not have NTR's blocking capability or Surtr's immortality, so she dies relatively quickly and before she can finish her skill. Although Surtr stays alive the longest, unfortunately she did not come out on top. Her arts damage and survivability makes her one of the best choices for fighting Patriot, but in this situation, NTR's true damage and Blazing Sun just outdid her. Lastly, we will do a full team buff/debuff showcase versus Patriot.
俺の処方は軽くないぜ。医療機器の止血監視。死ね。